Manchester United tonight. We've just been beaten by Spurs 2-0 at Wembley in the Premier League. A shocking performance from us. Absolute Spurs domination against us. What was that from United tonight? Is that a pub team playing tonight? It might as well have been. Me and Henry could have assembled a team full of absolute morons that we know and not done much worse than that, because we got fully battered, fully dominated by Spurs the entirety of the game. That second half performance was one of the worst things I've ever seen from Manchester United ever, because we were second best in every single department. When we're 2-0 down and we're the team who need to try and get back into the game and make things happen and attack, guess what? It's Spurs who are the team who are pressing forward. It's Spurs who are the team who are attacking and getting at us. We couldn't get at Spurs tonight. It was such a mundane, terrible, slow, tepid, disgraceful Louis van Gaal-esque / David Moyes-esque piss poor performance from Manchester United. Just out of this world gash, you know? And it's totally unacceptable. It really is. It was just a bad night from everyone. Bad night at the office for everyone. You know, Jose included, because the tactics were dreadful in terms of creating anything, in terms of any tempo in the side, in terms of attacking, you know. Second half, I'm expecting a reaction from the players. We did not get that. All credit to Spurs, you know. They were completely at the races tonight. Great performance from them. They really made it difficult for us. They just got at us. They had so much joy. I mean, it was like Ashley Young was an honorary Spurs cheerleader or something down that left-hand side. He did piss all. There was a gaping hole on that side of the pitch, and Spurs exploited it time and time and time again. So many chances coming from that position. It was poor from us. Defensively, we were dreadful. Chris Smallcock was absolutely disgraceful. Phil Jones, Phil freaking No Bonds. It was absolutely terrible, you know. And Phil Jones has been great for us this season. So has Ashley Young. Ashley Young's been brilliant for us this season, you know. They have. But tonight, they played like a bunch of schoolgirls. They were dreadful. Phil Jones with that second goal for Spurs. What are you doing, pal? You know, the cross has come in there. He's not got his feet proper. He's facing the goal. He uses his right foot when he should use his left. And he Van Nistelrooy-esques it into the freaking goal. His own goal to give Spurs that 2-0 lead. And that was a huge blow for us. I mean, we started this game so shit tonight, didn't we? 11 seconds into the game and Spurs are 1-0 up. 11 seconds. Long ball over the top. Phil Jones beaten to the header by freaking Harry Kane. Ball comes down, little ball laid into Christian Eriksen. He puts it in the back of the net. 11 seconds into the game. It's just not good enough, is it? We were sleeping, absolutely sleeping. And of course, with a bad start like that, you expect a reaction. We got a reaction for about 30 seconds because Alexis Sanchez got the ball, threaded it through to Lingard, and he had a chance. Pretty much our only chance of the fucking game. You know, really poor from us tonight. It really was. And there was just no bollocks out there on the pitch. There was no fire in the belly. There was no, you know, let's get back into this game. Where's our match winners? Where's our leaders? We're supposed to have leaders out there on the pitch. We've got Alexis Sanchez coming in, Arsenal's best player, invisible tonight. You know, let's not blame him too much. It's hard for him to come in there and have an instant impact. We were hoping for a better start from him tonight, but it just didn't come. But it's not on Alexis Sanchez's shoulders to make it happen. It's on the team, and the team did not perform, you know. The likes of Paul Pogba, let me just talk about that £90 million turd in the centre of the park there, Paul Pogba. Where is his determination? Where is his effort levels? If he's having a bad game, that's one thing. But to be having a bad game and looking like you're not doing anything is totally unacceptable. When you're on 350,000 fucking pounds a week, it's totally unacceptable, you know. He's supposed to be a match winner. He's supposed to be one of our special players. He's supposed to make things happen. He's supposed to be a big game player. Somebody who's turning up in games like this, the huge games against the top teams, the Spurses, and performing and getting us points and scoring us goals and assisting teammates. He doesn't do any of that because he doesn't care. He cares more about what colour stripes in his hair from week to week than he does about playing for Manchester United. That's what it looks like anyway. The effort levels from Paul Pogba are nowhere near where they need to be. And that is why Jose Mourinho substituted him off in the second half after 60 minutes, because he did not deserve to be out there on the pitch representing Manchester United. That's how shit Paul Pogba is. You know, week in, week out, you don't get a consistent performance from him. It's 1 week he could be great, the next week he could be shit. Well, this week, this game, he was absolutely shit. Just when you need your big game players to turn up, he goes missing once again. Paul Pogba, you are a joke, pal. Romelu Lukaku up the top of the pitch there. You know, didn't get the service tonight, did he? You know, you've got to feed the beast if you want him to score. Excuse me, I've just done my throat in with all this ranting, but Lukaku, you know, He had one chance of the game there, which was a ball over the top there, and he's tried to fashion a chance for himself, saved by Hugo Lloris. I feel sorry for Lukaku because he's feeding off scraps. Nothing created for him tonight from his teammates. Absolutely dreadful. Anthony Martial, great run of form. Tonight he was poor. At least he tried to make something happen going down the left there. He tried, but he just kept getting dispossessed every single time. It was a joke, So in terms of the actual performances out there, you have to blame the players for this because they were so bad. Individually, they were so bad. Anytime they got the ball, they gave it away, didn't string a few passes together. They played like a bunch of amateur girls, So I'm just disgusted by that level of commitment from the players out there, and disgusted by the tactics on display from Jose, especially in that second half, because it's like, we're totally out the game. We're 2-0 down. We can get back into this game, but we just didn't show anything going forward in that second half. Nothing at all. It was like we were playing without a midfield. And a lot of that is down to Paul Pogba, but a lot of it's down to the tactics, Pochettino got the tactics right tonight. Attack Manchester United. Get right at them. They played like that every single time, to be fair to Spurs, United tonight just didn't turn up, didn't get the tactics right, and we were outclassed on every single part of the pitch by them tonight, which for a Manchester United fan to say about a game of football between Spurs and United is an absolute joke, because Spurs shouldn't be anywhere near Manchester United, and it shouldn't be such a golfing quality out there. It's one thing to lose to Spurs, but it's another thing to lose in such a manner, such a toothless performance, not even creating anything. A couple of really poor chances from us tonight, and that's it. Spurs, chance after chance after chance after chance. All credit to Spurs, they were absolutely brilliant. But yeah, this poses a lot of questions for Manchester United, because we're supposed to have had this kick up the arse now with Alexis Sanchez coming in, and it just hasn't materialised in this game. It was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from Manchester United. The worst performance of the season from us. Right, anyway, I'm here with Henry Hotspur for a live Pig in the Hen show. We're going to stick around for a while just to break down this game. I'm trying to vent, trying to get some of this frustration out of me, because that was an absolute calamitous performance for us. It really was. And this guy, of course, he's going to get his smug mode on now. He's going to be gloating for the next few minutes. So, if you don't like the idea of that, you should probably leave now.
Well, it's a bit awkward, isn't it? It's a bit awkward because usually on the Pig and the Hen show, it's kind of we're watching some shitty Carabao Cup game or some shit. And it's kind of like we're not really watching it. We're just talking about, the latest best TV show or some shit, right? But no, this evening, unfortunately, I did miss the beginning of the game there. Massive disappointment on my part there. What was I thinking? Fastest goal. But not the fastest goal in Premier League ever. But
one of them, second or third.
It must be
right up there. We were totally caught sleeping there. It was dreadful stuff from us.
Must be right up there, and I'm screaming at my radio in my car. Almost had an accident, thinking, "Fucking hell!" It's unbelievable.
What sort of a mug arranges to work when Spurs are playing Manchester United, though, mate? You brought it on yourself. It's your own fault, pal. Well, thankfully, you weren't here for the start of that game, though.
It is what it is. But what's to blame you? When I entered the room and managed to set my eyes on the feast of a match that we had, all I saw was literally Tottenham players, on the outside, just on the outside of the box, standing there, not even needed to make runs, standing without being tackled, right, passing it from side to side to each other until someone has a shot. That's what I witnessed. Did you see that? No, I think you're nodding. I can see you nodding. Should we start nodding? Should we do the up and down with the head and the neck motion? Yeah, I think we should, because, what was that about? What was that about? Manchester United, you should be crying into your pillows tonight. Don't bother waking up with that sort of performance.
Listen, mate. Who's higher than who in the league? You can say what you want. It's a bad night at the office for Manchester United. And the best night at the office for Spurs. Let's not forget who the best team is. Who's higher in the league, okay?
Let's forget
Spurs got lucky tonight.
At the moment. We're talking about what we've just witnessed. We've talked about the game this evening. Let's stay on that subject.
Let me just talk about something. Okay, you dominated us. You totally bullied us. You attacked us. You had chance after chance after chance. But let's look at the facts here for a moment, right? 11 seconds you scored the goal. It's a long ball over the top. Fortunate start, really. When does that ever happen? Fortunate start. United caught napping, and you get the goal. Hang on a second. And then where do you let the goal come from? Second goal is another freak Goal, Phil Jones executing a finish into the back of his net like freaking Henrik Larsson or something. A freak occurrence, you know. Okay, you battered us. You were good value for the win. You deserved it. But still, the goals have come from freak occurrences. You know? I'm clutching at straws here. United was shit. I know we were shit. I'm struggling here. I'm trying to get excuses. We were just shit, weren't we? I can't use that as an excuse. You're right. It was just poor from us.
I mean, there is a part of me, there's the neutral in me that was disappointed this evening. Because I was expecting...
And look at Jose on the post-match interview, the Portuguese Mr. Bean prick. Look at him. Why does he look more and more like Mr. Bean when we lose and play shit like this? It's like he turns into his fucking Mr. Bean costume after the final whistle.
He looks 10 years older, doesn't he? He's aged in that game. Oh, he looks awful. Doesn't he? Look at the bags under his eyes. I mean, I know I've got bags, but, they don't get as bad as Mourinho's when I'm older, because they are some bad bags.
Fucking hell. But yeah, I mean, it was just one of the worst performances from United this season. I can't say anything other than Spurs fully deserved the win. They dominated us. They did. You know, and it asked a lot of questions over United. I mean, one thing I want to talk about is Alexis Sanchez. He had no impact tonight whatsoever. But listen, he's just started at United. We know the quality he has. It was a bit much for us to expect that he's going to slot right in there with a new team, away at Spurs, you know, a good team, and just have a masterful performance. That's what we were hoping for, but it's a bit much to ask for that. Unfortunately, he didn't even have a good game. He had a bad game. You know, he was very, very invisible at times, as was, you know, Paul Pogba, who to me is one of United's most frustrating and annoying players, because not only is he one of the most highest paid players in the world, but he's supposed to be a match winner for us, and he's actually a match loser for us, I think, a lot of the time. You know, the hole we had in midfield today was so bad. It was like every time Spurs got the ball, we'd give the ball away in the final third, and Spurs would just take it forward every single time, and they would get through us. And it shouldn't be so easy to get through United and get at them and have chances. Another problem tonight we had, Ashley Young on the left-hand side was just exploited time and time again by Spurs. He had a very poor game, and he looked lost out there. A lot of people calling for Luke Shaw to start this game with his pace. You know, I sort of don't agree with that. I look at the form of Ashley Young this season. Jose's utilised him brilliantly, and he's been brilliant. He's had a great season for us. He's just had a really bad game, and that's as simple as that. Terrible game from him. Yes, maybe it would have been better to put Luke Shaw in, but it's easy to say that with hindsight, you know. And then Phil Jones, another player who's been one of our better performers this year. Jose getting the absolute very best out of him. He's been brilliant for us. But tonight, he scored an OG out of the very top draw, and he's generally been shit. He was at fault for the first goal, losing that initial header after a few seconds into the game to Harry Kane, and he also made a couple of other shocking calamitous errors throughout the game. And it's just not good enough. You can't be that inconsistent and have that many errors in you. But unfortunately, they did tonight. Spurs exploited that, and in the end, it was an embarrassing performance from us, because Spurs battered us, you know. It's not like we were really even in the game. Spurs had their way with us tonight. They bent us over, and they said, have some of this Les Ferdinand action or something, you know. And they just took it like they just took us from behind, didn't they? Except it wasn't from behind, it was in front of our freaking faces, you know? So, you know, what am I talking about? You speak.
I mean, the question tonight has to be, who is to blame? Who needs the finger pointing at them? Because there's some serious questions that need to be asked. Like, I'm going to try my best just to stow away my absolute delight of the result this evening, just for the sake of the pig and the hen, right? And let's look at what went wrong this evening for United.
Jose Mourinho is to blame. The players are to blame. It's a combination of the two. But let's talk about Jose, why he's to blame, right? Negative tactics, negative football. Being second best to Pochettino in terms of the plan tonight. You know, obviously Spurs' plan was evident. Get right at United. Attack with every opportunity. That was their plan. I don't even know what plan Jose had. Was it to defend and soak up pressure? We don't really know, because maybe the game plan was thrown right out of the window after 11 seconds because we were 1-0 down and we had to get back into the game.
It has to be the case.
It's always difficult when you go down that early on in a game. But what I always think is you've got 90 minutes left to turn it around. I mean, the real blow came when Phil Jones scored. But yeah, I mean, in terms of just showing a bit of bottle, showing a bit of fire, determination, being a Manchester United team. You know, like Manchester United. You know, United, one of the most, you know, determined teams that there ever has been in the Premier League. Certainly under Ferguson, anyway. It was all about never say die. You know, Bayern Munich, Champions League final, 1-0 down, 90th minute. Shut up, I'm going back there. I have to nearly go back 20 years for an example, but I'm going back there. Fire, determination, it's never over. Tonight against Spurs, you would have never known there was 45 minutes left of the game when we came out in the second half. You would have thought there was 30 seconds left, and hopes was completely out the window.
Complete shadows of ghosts that were already nothings in the first half, wasn't it? From your
It was, mate. We got even worse. If that first half performance could get any worse, you wouldn't believe it, but it did. Second half, it got worse for Manchester United. We couldn't create anything, and the likes of Paul Pogba have to take a lot of blame because he's supposed to be one of our match winners. He is, and he's just not good enough. Lukaku's got to take some blame. I'm not blaming Sanchez just yet. Phil Jones, actually, all these players have to take some blame, but it all boils down to Jose and not being able to change the game, Go 2-0 down, but at half-time, you need to make that team react. You need to change it. And so he should be blasting Pogba, you absolute mug. Look at the state of him with that hairdo, pal. It's like he changes his hair week from week. It's absolutely shocking anyway for a grown man to have. But it seems like he cares more about that. The reason Jose's been berating him on the sideline there and substituting him off after 60 minutes is because he looks like he doesn't give a fuck. He's out there. He's not trying. He's not battling. He's supposed to be a warrior out there in the centre of the park. Roy Keane would have that prick for breakfast. He would have him pinned up in the dressing room and putting the shitters up him before he could say frickin' Alfinger Haaland. He would. But unfortunately, we don't have the leader in there. We don't have the man in there who can grab Paul Pogba by the scruff of the neck, shave that stupid haircut off him, and tell him, this is Manchester United you're playing for. This is the red shirt you're wearing. You have to represent the team in the correct manner. And we don't have enough leaders out there on the pitch. I'm sorry, we don't. Paul Pogba's supposed to be one of them, but he's not. This is going to shock a lot of people tonight, right? And he does play well from time to time. But from when he's joined Manchester United, up until now, I have been so disappointed with him. He's had his good games here and there. He has. He's looked world class on occasion. But most of the time, he's been absolutely average. And I'll tell you this now. If Chelsea or Real Madrid or anybody was prepared, PSG, to come in with a £50 million bid and get Paul Pogba, I would sell that prick tomorrow. I would get him off the books. He's not worth 350k a week wages, is he? Based on this season, couple of good games. Not worth it. Goes missing in the big games against the big teams. He's just not worth it. Whereas, we need somebody, I'd rather play Michael Carrick or someone who's going to be consistent and who's going to try and put in maximum effort all of the time. So, it's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, but it's not because he has had these bad performances so many times this season. And against lesser teams, he's good one week, he's shit the next. You can't do that at a club like United. You've got to be consistent. You've got to do it every week, and he's nowhere near the standard. Yes, he's cost £90 million. Yes, he's our world record transfer signing. He came through the academy, went to Juventus, had an amazing time over there, turned into one of the world's best players, apparently. Match winning over there. Well, I tell you what, Serie A must be fucking shit these days. Because why can he not come to the Premier League and replicate that, He's come in here, it's been absolutely dreadful since we got him. Bar the odd good performance, Paul Cooper in the house with the comments says Jones and Smalling are gash. Listen, I don't think Smalling's really good enough to play in these games. The fact that Eric Bailly was out injured and has been out injured for a while was a huge blow to United. He is our best defender, I think, Eric Bailly. We've just been without him for a while. That's a big hole in the defence, it is. Lindelof's coming. He's not really lived up to it, has he? Phil Jones has had a great season. He's just had a terrible performance tonight. To blame him and say he's not good enough, I think is wrong. I think he is good enough. He's just not good enough tonight. But consistency-wise, he's been good. Smalling is absolutely terrible, though, I have to say, Not good enough. He had a good season for us under Louis van Gaal. He looked like one of our best players. I think it's just because our team was that shit that he was able to actually shine in that team. And he's a defender, and we were doing a lot of defending. So... but in terms of just going forward, I don't think Smalling's up to the standard of it myself.
Well, Smalling's a bit shit is what he's saying. Sounds like there's a big finger of yours pointing straight at Pogba's face right now. That's what I kind of gathered. That's the gist that I got from that little explosiveness from you there. Pogba, you're saying he just doesn't look like he's bothered. Pogba not bothered.
Let me put it this way.
Not bothered.
Let me put it this way. We're 2-0 down at Spurs. Say it's the Sir Alex Ferguson days, right? We've got Roy Keane, Paul Scholes in the centre of the park, yeah? We need to get back into this game. Is Sir Alex Ferguson substituting Paul Scholes or Roy Keane off after 60 minutes in that scenario? 100% no.
Yeah, because he would have given us a hairdryer treatment.
But he also knows that they're going to be given 110%. He knows that they're capable of moments of magic and can turn a game like that. With Paul Pogba, you don't get that. You don't know that he's going to do that. In fact, you know that he's going to have a negative impact on the rest of the game. Hence why you take him the fuck off the pitch. Like Mourinho did correctly today. He did do the correct thing by taking him off. But it still didn't improve us whatsoever.
Do you think maybe Jose shouting at him might have made him play shitter? He might have just gone into sort of sulk mode. Would you say Pogba was perhaps sulk mode, or was he just lazy mode today?
He was twat mode today. He was just twat mode. He didn't look bothered, and anything he touched turned to shit. He was just terrible anyway. Not a £90 million player, not a £9 million player, not a 9 pence player, he should be paid in food. He should be paid in, just to keep him alive. That's how bad he was.
Oh,
but the
apologies, I've just got
Come on, mate, silence that shit.
Cool.
He's got to take a call. Get out. Out the room. Shut the door. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely shit from us, isn't it? We need to get back in the title race. This is our chance to get back in the title race, effectively. You never know what's going to happen with City. They've been amazing this season. And guess what? They've got further ahead. Spurs have now caught us up.
Sorry, very unprofessional there. But I haven't even been able to get a word in this evening, have I?
Listen, mate, hang on.
I might as well leave anyway. I might as well just go and have that nice little romantic chat with the missus there. Not much else to do. Because I've got a massive stonk on after that game, I'm telling you. Absolutely loving it. What a great evening. What a way to wrap up January, isn't it? What a way to wrap up transfer day, deadline day. It's
anyway,
crazy.
we're still second though, right, in the league at the moment currently.
What makes me laugh, right, is earlier you were saying, back in the Fergie days, it would be, never say die attitude, right up to the end of the game, putting a few goals in at the end and winning it. That's the way of United. That's how things used to be done at Manchester United there. But that certainly wasn't. But it made me laugh because you weren't in the game at all. The second half of the game, it wasn't a game. It was a training exercise for Tottenham, like I was saying. It's, you were nowhere even close. It was like if there was a scale between 10 being, yes, actually trying to win the game the Fergie way, and 0 being not trying at all. You were much closer to 0. And that's not acceptable, is it?
I can't really disagree with anything you just said there, man. I mean, in terms of effort, in terms of output, in terms of, actually creating stuff and being effective, we were a 0. We didn't create anything. Spurs, much the better team, totally bullied and dominated us. They really deserved the
I bet
win.
you would have rather Dembele and Dyer rather than Pogba and Matic today. Wouldn't you say? Because they absolutely dominated the midfield. You just couldn't. You had no control over the game at all. And this is Manchester United we're talking about. Dyer, Dembele doing a brilliant job. Dele Alli back to his best today. It has to be said, playing some fantastic football. Ericsson popping up with a goal right at the beginning there and playing a great game. Kane, Smalling and and Jones didn't know what they were doing with Kane. Time and time again, he's winning headers, winning the ball, holding the ball up, deceiving your defenders there. It was... There's so much
like we had no midfield.
So much
it looked like we had no midfield. Alex Rincon with a super chat. Thank you very much, Alex. Appreciate it, my friend. He's come up with a good point, to be fair, which is Pogba leads the league in assists and has done it in 10 less games than Kevin De Bruyne. United just played bad. It happens. Even Spurs recently salvaged a draw against Newport. I mean, statistically, he's up there, isn't he? You can't really deny that. The fact that he leads the league in assists, that's a pretty great stat that you've come up with there, Alex, to support him doing okay this season, yeah. But in terms of actual effort out there and being consistent, that's what I don't see. I bet you those assists haven't come in games where he's got 1 assist each game. I bet it's like 3 right at the start of the season or something in one game where we've come up against a shit team and beat them 4-0. It's that sort of a thing. It's like I don't see his impact out there on the pitch, So, okay, you come in with that stat, and I think that's a great stat. And if you're looking on paper, he's had a good season then, hasn't he, for a midfielder to get 11 assists and lead the league assists. But in terms of actual performances, he's been shit. He's had a few good ones here and there. But it is almost like 1 week he's great, the next week he's bad. There's no middle ground with him. He doesn't put in okay 7 out of 10 performances and then an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It's like he's 10 out of 10 one week and 2 out of 10 the next. And it's just, you can't do that at Manchester United, especially if you're not turning up in the big games. I'd be interested to know how many assists he's got in those big games, this season against the top six, say. Because based on tonight's performance, he just goes invisible. He just turns into a frigging wig running around with a red stripe because he is the invisible man.
Notice what you said there, Alex Rincon, in regards to it's just one game, and you can't knee-jerk react, and I agree with that somewhat. However, it has to be of massive concern just the way that you lost that game. There was just no fight, no passion at all. Yes, we drew to Newport County the other day, but we had to go and get that goal. They scored first. It was a difficult game. Sometimes when you've got a fantastic team against a team in somewhere like League Two, it can be tricky at times. We didn't lose the game. We didn't lose 2-0 or 3-0 or even 1-0. We've got a replay at Wembley, so you can't really compare that to what's happened this evening for Manchester United. I can't remember Tottenham losing. I know we lost to Arsenal earlier in the season 2-0, but we didn't play as badly as you did tonight. No way. I haven't seen any. I don't think I've seen any of the top six sides actually have a worse performance against another one of the top six sides than what I saw this evening from Manchester United.
I know, even if we'd have lost the game, or a team lost the game 3-0 or something, it's not as bad a performance as that, because Spurs could have made it 5, They were all over us and we barely had a shot, so I don't disagree with anything you're saying there, my friend. Although you're not really my friend, are you, mate? You're a Spurs scumbag tonight.
The bet's kind of back on, isn't it, a little bit? Because you were kind of thinking that 50 quid's in your back pocket already.
Yeah, I was.
5 points in it now.
So just like Man United to let me down.
You keep wanting to talk about how the league's looking at the moment. So, let's look at the league. City's won it. Let's be honest, right? We'll move on to that shortly. United, you are now 3 points. Just a measly 3 points ahead of Liverpool, who have jumped into third because of Chelsea's shit performance. This evening against Bournemouth, who are now in fourth. Worst goal difference in Liverpool there. And then, of course, Tottenham on 48 points, just 2 points behind that bracket. And Tottenham looking strong after a performance, after a game like tonight. That's got to put Tottenham in good stead for a top four finish. It has to be when Chelsea are losing to teams like Bournemouth, my local team, Bournemouth, 3-0 at Stamford Bridge, I believe. Was it not at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah,
I think it was Stamford Bridge. That's a joke, isn't it?
That's a great result from them. Yeah, that's a huge help actually for Manchester United, because obviously if Bournemouth hadn't have won that game, then United would have gone below Chelsea. So thank you very much, Bournemouth. Even though we're shit, we're still second. So
Arsenal lost, so they're falling away. So you kind of got those. You've got City that's won it, Arsenal that I don't think has made it to the top four, and then you've got Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool and Spurs now that are battling for those last three positions. One of those teams is going to have to drop out.
Totally agree, my friend. It's I do think Manchester United have enough in the squad. I mean, look at the team on paper tonight going into the game. You have to say it looked pretty good, Okay, defensively, it's not up there with the best defences in the league, but attacking-wise, you look at the talents we've got in there, Pogba on his day, and, the likes of Lukaku, Alexis Sanchez, Martial, all these players look great on paper, but the problem is the game isn't played on paper. It's played out there on the pitch, and on the pitch at Wembley tonight, we were second best in every department. We didn't look like we had the calibre of player out there on the pitch. Honestly, you could have put me in place of Lukaku tonight, and it wouldn't have had much difference because he didn't get any service at all. So how is he supposed to score?
You have to admit, though, if you had our two teams that we had this evening, right? If you looked at, let's say, the FIFA ratings of each of those players, I wouldn't say Manchester United had a much better team at all. Not really, not at the moment. When I look at a performance like this, I think our players are pretty much just as good as what you got to give in some respects. I really do. I think Tottenham Hotspur have stepped up to that kind of level.
I'm not so sure about that, mate. I mean, I think in terms of quality,
who's a bad player in the Tottenham team?
I'm not saying you've got bad players, but in terms of world class players, I think your only real world class players are Harry Kane and Christian Eriksen, and that's
So you say Son's not a world class player?
No, he's not a world class player.
Plays for South Korea. He's their best player. He's the best Asian player. Be voted best Asian player however many times.
He's not a world class player.
He scored like the last. He scored like in the. Fair enough, he didn't score this evening, but he scored in the last 5 home games. He is.
He's not world class, mate.
Top class.
How do you define world class then?
Okay?
Yeah, top class. He's not world class.
Yeah,
World
top
class
is almost world class.
No,
so,
world class.
I
A
mean?
world class player would get into any team in the world, any top team in the world.
What, like Alexis Sanchez?
100%.
He looked a bit shit this evening.
Yeah, but he's still a world class player. You don't base a player's world class abilities on whether or not they play one game good. Do
Okay,
they?
but Sanchez.
You look over the course of their career. He is
Necessarily
a world class player, my friend.
Better than Sanchez.
He's a world class
this
player.
season.
Yeah, but last season, how great was he for Arsenal? One of the leading scorers in the league. He's not even an out-and-out striker.
Right,
he's a world class player, great for in La Liga. You know, he's a world class player, great for Chile.
Dele Alli, potential world class player.
He would get into
Dele
any
Alli.
team in the world pretty much. Fuck off with Dele Alli. No, based on last season's performance,
He's
not good enough. He's been an invisible twat this year.
We're going to do
He's
this.
been invisible this year.
We're going to do this in a bit.
Dele Alli not good enough. You know, if he could have kept the consistency up like last year, this season, you'd have to say he's bordering on the world class. That's why I'm saying Harry Kane is a world class player, because he is keeping it going. You know. But, who else is world class in Manchester United?
Right, can we just go through the team?
David De Gea.
Let's do it nice and quick, right? Lloris or De Gea? It's De Gea.
It's De Gea,
okay?
world class, get into any team in the world. Lloris, no, he wouldn't. Still a great keeper.
We can move on, okay? Valencia or Trippier? Maybe Valencia, okay? Right, centre backs, then Smalling and Jones, or you got Vertonghen and Sanchez. I'd take Vertonghen and Sanchez all day long. Love them defenders.
I choose Phil Jones over Sanchez.
Okay, there we go.
But,
so that's debatable.
That's debatable,
Left
right?
back, Ashley Young or Davies?
Neither of them are world class, so it's pointless to say.
One of those,
Neither of them are world class.
Dyer and Dembele.
They're not world class though, are they? That's my point.
Well, you just had a massive rant about
I
Pogba,
did,
and now you're going to say
I'm pissed off with Pogba.
No, you're going to say, oh, but he's world class now, so he's got to be in the team.
I'm pissed off with
mate.
Pogba.
He's obviously shit. You have just said he's awful, haven't you? So how can you now say that he's...
I'm not saying he's world class. I think I have said previously he might be bordering on the world class. At least when he was at Juventus, he looked like he was world class. But since he's come over to United, he's not been world class. At least not in enough games. That's the problem, you know. He's supposed to be a world class player. You don't spend 90 million on a player who's not world class. That's the problem. But he's not been playing like a world class player.
I think Matic. I like Matic. I have to say, I'm a bit of a Matic fan. I think he's a good player, but he obviously didn't have the best of games today. But I think you can't really blame him. It was the whole United
fact
team.
Is, hang on, Spurs and United do not have a lot of world-class players. Look at City, look at Arsenal. Sorry,
wait a second, can we not go through
look
the
at
rest
Real
of the
Madrid.
team?
No, I don't want to go through the rest of the team. I don't want to go through the rest of the team, mate. No, we're not going through the rest of the team.
We're going to do it.
They don't want to
listen to it. I'm going to leave.
All right, Kane beats Lukaku.
Okay, well, we get to that one at the end, right? Let's look at the interesting thing though from this evening is we played the same formations. We need to talk about it.
4-2-3-1.
It was a mirrored kind of formation.
You wouldn't know it though.
From the managers this evening.
Anyway,
right?
now you're changing the fucking subject.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. It's kind of it's not. It's a intentional digression. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. So the other players, Dele Alli, right? Christian Eriksen and Son, right? You had Sanchez, Lingard and Martial, right? I would take any of Tottenham Hotspur 3 players over Martial or Lingard.
That's bullshit, mate. That's bullshit. You can't say that.
Okay,
No way.
I think Lingard's good. Lingard, Ali,
Lingard's had a great season for us.
Different players. Ali's got
He's
more
not
potential.
world class,
Ali's got more potential than Lingard, I believe.
I
Ali
agree.
has the potential to become a great player. So I'd take Ali over Lingard. There we go.
Okay.
Right. I'd take Son over Martial. I would. Son is...
That's bullshit.
Son is...
That's bollocks,
He's
mate.
the most underrated player in the Premier League. He scored in the last 5 home games,
underrated.
apart from this evening.
He doesn't have anywhere near the talent. He has nowhere near the
the
talent of an Anthony Martial, though. You can't compare the two. Totally different players. Martial's a way more skillful player.
No.
He is. Son works his socks off and he's very, very effective. But in terms of world-class abilities, no way. Martial's way better. Not saying he's world-class,
I would have Son
but he
over
is way
Martial,
better.
okay?
Alexis Sanchez, don't go on tonight's performance, go on his career. He's better than any of Spurs' players. He's better than any of them.
What about, forget Son then. All right, okay, fair
Eriksen's
enough.
the only player that would get on the
I'm
side.
getting a lot of hate here, right? Forget that one. What about Eriksen?
Yeah, he'd get in the team. Who are we saying for? Lingard.
Eriksen versus Martial.
Well, they don't play in the same position, so why are you comparing the two?
They're still the kind of attacking players, aren't they?
No.
The attacking
No, I'm not going for that.
Players.
You're not comparing Martial with Eriksen. No, Martial with Son, that's a fair comparison. They're an advanced
So
players.
what are you saying? Eriksen versus Sanchez then is what you're trying to say then? Well, you've got to say Sanchez still, okay? Because Sanchez is a great
Anyway,
player.
this is pointless.
And then Kane
pointless, mate.
has it over Lukaku.
Listen, I'm putting an end to this bullshit now, mate.
What I'm trying to
I'm
say
putting an end to
is
this
our
fucking
team
shit
is
show now.
pretty much as good as yours.
Your team is decent, but it's not as good as Manchester United's on paper. On the pitch, it's better based on tonight. But on paper, it's not. You don't have the quality.
What I'm saying is, it ain't that far
No,
from
it's
each
not.
other on paper.
It's not, no.
It's not like
no.
you've got some brown shitty paper and you've got some pristine fucking from the Ritz paper. You know, it's just A4 and A5. You got a little bit more.
Yeah,
But it's the same sort of pen.
except ours is fucking laminated, mate. All right, we have got that little extra bit of quality, that little extra bit of staying power. Yeah, we do.
That laminate gets dirty.
Lukaku,
You know it. Dirty laminated paper.
Lukaku's not been good recently, but based over the last few seasons, he's a very, very good striker. Last year it was, who's the best striker in the Premier League? Is it Lukaku? Is it Kane? This year there's no question. But last year it was who's better out of those two. So just don't say that Lukaku's not good enough. Lukaku's.
What do you mean? Lukaku and Kane are miles apart. Harry Kane is arguably the best player in the world at the moment.
At the
really
moment,
is.
you just said it yourself. At the moment,
Right now
they are miles apart.
Actually, over the last couple of seasons, actually. If you look at the statistics of it, you know, let's look at the last 2.5 years statistically from Harry Kane. He is fucking right up there, pretty much best player in the world. You're trying to say Lukaku
100%.
even pisses on his boots?
Yeah, he pisses.
No, he doesn't.
He pisses on his knees, mate. Okay, he's that far up there. But listen, he's not good. He's not as good as Harry Kane. Given the choice at the start of the season, who we sign in, Harry Kane or Lukaku, you take Harry Kane all day.
Of course he would
He's
do.
better. He's the best striker in the world right now. You have to say. Lukaku's not that far off, though. Look at the last 3 seasons. How many goals has he scored? Not a lot less than Kane.
All I'm saying is there's a lot of hate for Lukaku, and you don't get much hate for Harry Kane. There's a lot of people out there that will tell you Lukaku is not very good.
It's the price tag. If Lukaku came in on a free, I don't think he'd be having hardly as much as the criticism as he's been.
Okay. Rich coming from you, who's just slated Pogba. Because that's mainly what it's about, is that money. This is, we're getting to the
that's
roots
just
of
backing
it
up
now.
what I said
We're
as
getting to
well.
the roots of the internal
Paul
hate that you
Pogba-
have at the moment for your shit performance.
Shut up. If Paul Pogba had stayed at Manchester United, Sir Alex didn't sell him, and he was a product of our academy, he would not be getting half as much pressure as he is right now. It's a business, mate. You spent £90 million on a player, you pay him 300k a week. You need to get a return on your investment. Of course, there's added pressure. We expect a result from him. We expect performances from him because you've made that investment.
Do you think this is the problem? Do you think this plays on players' minds? Do you think Pogba's running around thinking, fucking hell, 90 million or whatever, 90 million? Shit, I'm supposed to be worth 90 million.
Probably. He's not worth 90 million, though, is
Why
he?
ain't I pissing gold then? What the fuck?
How much would he... Let me ask
What
you
is
an
the
honest
issue?
question, mate. Right, would you take Pogba at Spurs?
Of course I would have on a free. Yeah. What do you mean?
Right, no, this is
Of
what I'm
course I
going to
would.
ask you.
Silly question.
This is what I'm going to ask you. How
Okay.
much would you pay for Paul Pogba in today's transfer market based on how he's been over the last 2 seasons? How much would you pay for him?
Right now, if I woke up and I heard that we paid 40 million for him, I think bargain. Right?
Yeah.
If
So
it's
you
45,
50
I'd still think, yeah,
50
great
million,
signing.
60 million.
50
But not
million.
90 million
Let's
pounds.
say 55. If it was 60 plus, I'd raise eyebrows.
But not
Yeah,
90 million
that's
pounds.
the sort of current sort of market, right? Because
Right.
he's a great player, isn't he? The assist stat speaks for itself. Of course it does. You
Speaks
can't
for
read
itself.
too much into assists because assists can be anything from a brilliant overhead through pass to just some
Exactly.
just some shitty little deflection or something.
Exactly, and it doesn't show a true reflection of what games these assists were made in either. It's like we need big game players. We need if he's getting 2 assists in the game against Spurs, then he's had a fucking good game, you know. If he's getting 2 assists in a game against Crystal Palace, it doesn't mean as much, does it? It just doesn't. So I'd like to see who he's got his assists against. But based on assists this season, the stats look good for him. But I'm telling you, based on performances, he's not the best midfielder in the Premier League. His stats would suggest that he's up there. But I'm telling you, he's nowhere near one of the best midfielders in the Premier League based on his performances. He's just an invisible man with a shit haircut.
All right, so
And I would have Christian Eriksen over him right now. You know, and Christian
there we
Eriksen
go.
cost Spurs how much? £12 million or something? I know it's a slightly different time.
ridiculous, isn't it?
But, you know, I am just massively disappointed with Paul Pogba generally as a player.
You know,
He's
Riyad
supposed to be a
Mahrez
match
was
winner, for
bought
fuck's
for
sake.
less than $1 million, wasn't he?
Yeah, I
silly,
think so, yeah.
Silly little 400 grand sort of. That's crazy, isn't it?
Nearly went on the last day of the transfer window today, apart from that City couldn't agree terms with Leicester.
No, they just, Leicester turned down their offer.
Turned down
down
4
50,
offers.
56, 57
65 million, I think it was.
Potentially Mangala going to Leicester, but, you know, you can see what Leicester's doing here.
I
Why
know,
would you
they-
want to sell
They
Riyad
shouldn't sign him,
Mahrez?
no. On the last day, they can't replace him.
You don't get rid of Mahrez and bring in a defender. That's not going to help your team, is it? That makes no
Exactly.
sense. That's stupid, isn't it? But before we move on to the transfer day and all the other great things that we talk about on the show and that need to be talked about on the show today, because there's a hell of a lot that's happened, we haven't even been... So we've just gone through the players, basically, haven't we? Players that are to blame. We kind of made a few comparisons between the teams there. Now let's talk about Jose. Where did he go wrong this evening? Did Poch just get the better of him? What do you think, Pig?
Yeah, I totally think that's what happened, man. Poch just got the better of him, you know? As simple as that. He got his tactics right tonight. Although I must admire the way Spurs play the football, because you pretty much know what you're going to get with Spurs. What you're going to get with Spurs, you're going to get a team who's going to attack, who's going to get a lot of balls from wide areas. They're going to get Kane on the ball as much as possible. He's going to bring others into play. You're going to have Son working his absolute socks off. Busy.
You didn't have anyone like him for
Christian
United
Eriksen
tonight, did you?
Threading those lovely passes. So you know what you're going to get from Spurs. With United, you don't know what you're going to get, and Mourinho obviously set his team up wrong tonight. You know, it's easy to say, oh, we were on the back foot because we conceded the goal after 11 seconds, but even after that, we didn't really have a game plan. We didn't have a reaction. The tactics were not good enough. We could barely pass the ball. You know, we had most of the possession in the first half, but we didn't do anything with that possession. It was just very, very toothless performance from Manchester United. No deliveries into Lukaku. Again, Lukaku, I feel sorry for him, not getting the service. And, you know, we've totally got it wrong. Jose likes to park the bus sometimes, doesn't he? I think the tactic tonight was go away to Spurs. They're going to attack. We'll hit them on the counter-attack, grab a goal. Sit back, defend, 90 minutes, 1-0 away from home, maybe get a draw. Happy days, because it's a tough game, tough place to go, it really is. But after 11 seconds, that game plan was chucked out the window because, of course, Eriksen's got the goal. And then what do the United players do? Right, we've got to go to plan B now. Well, we haven't been doing enough of plan B, which should be our plan A, which is attack, attack, attack. We haven't been doing enough of that, whereas Spurs have. Spurs are seasoned in that style of football. And they made it look like United were not even on their level tonight. You know, look at the amount of money and the talents we've got out there on the pitch. £500 million team we've got out there. I mean, it's laughable. You wouldn't know it. They look so bad. They look so bad. And Spurs look like the team that, you know, could potentially be challenging for the league. Obviously, they're not. They're obviously not consistent enough. But tonight against us, they made us look terrible. They did, you know. So
I mean, I don't think Jose could be too criticised for his team selection. I mean, I looked at that United starting 11 and I thought, you know, that's a proper good team there. That's basically your best players on paper. Basically played the best team that you've got on paper in some respects. I don't think there's anyone else that's kind of worth more that was sitting on the bench that could have come in. Obviously, you've got a couple of injuries or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, for me, you've got a question. It has to be a question. I think there's been a comment or two on this that I've read as well. Thanks for your guys' input, because I do read it whilst he's mouthing off and try to remember. But earlier on in the show, there was a comment that came through that said maybe Sanchez shouldn't have started today. Maybe he should have been eased in. It's quite unusual in some respects to do to sign a player, and he's only been there 2 seconds, isn't he? Really. And he's straight in the team. I mean, is that going to affect the team? I mean, the team's been playing all right recently. United have had a good string of results of recent times. So for Jose just to pluck a player out and stick Sanchez straight in, was that potentially a mistake?
maybe it was a mistake. You'd have to say in hindsight it looks like a mistake because he was bad and it had, if anything, a negative effect on the team. But I think the reaction you're looking for from the players would be, right, we've got this quality player in now. Let's see how better we can be with this quality player. Look what he did at Arsenal. We know he's capable of doing amazing things. It should be a lift to the team. And if not a lift to the team, it should be like a kick up the arse for the team. You know, it should be, right, my name's Anthony Martial. I've got to show my worth to this team now and perform and put in a great performance if I'm going to stay in the team for next week. You know, unfortunately, it wasn't a good start for Alexis Sanchez for Manchester United. You know, if he'd have got a goal or created something or looked good, looked lively, then we wouldn't be having this conversation now. It's only because he was very poor that you're saying that, really. But I understand it. He probably wasn't ready to come in there and start such a big game. You know, he's not had time to bed into the side, gel with the players. You could see he wasn't on the same wavelength for some of the players today. It's just different for him, you know. It's a totally different team. You know, he's a great player, but to expect him to go in there and put in a miraculous match-winning performance immediately is a bit too much, I think. So I think, yeah, it was probably not the best decision from Jose to do that.
Especially against the arch rivals.
But we all wanted to see him, didn't we? We all wanted to see him.
Interesting dynamics to it. You know, when you read into it a little bit more. I mean, I don't I'm not saying that players, really care about the rivals of the teams that they're playing for, but it seems to be the case when there's derbies in general. Sometimes the tackles do fly in a little bit more. There is that genuine passion to beat.
Hang on a second.
To beat the nemesis, right?
Spurs aren't a nemesis of Manchester United. They're not a major rival.
I'm talking about Alexis Sanchez. I'm talking about the Arsenal. Those feelings. I mean, earlier in the season, we unfortunately. I
was going to say Spurs
lost
to
Arsenal. I think Sanchez scored on that day. So Sanchez has scored against Tottenham this season, right? But he was nothing like that player this evening. So it's surprising. But there's a lot of pressure on the man. He's just massive move to United. Straight away, shake the hands of his teammates and it's like, right, we're playing together. And, surely, I mean, I know they're professionals, and I'm not saying that, they're not going to just slot straight in and be able to play well, but there has to be a diminished performance from a team that hasn't had those years of experience together, because you've got 11 pieces there, haven't you? It's like a jigsaw puzzle. And you've just decided to buy some nice new flashy diamond coated one or whatever. You're trying to slot them in. But it's just, it's not quite fitting.
It's from a different set.
It's not quite fitting. It's from a different set at the moment,
It needs shaving.
So, all I'm saying is that, that potentially could have been an issue. You were saying Sanchez was playing more of a wide role. But certainly if he had been playing, they were all kind of intermingling, weren't they? But if he had been playing directly behind Lukaku, that's an important position. That's where you're kind of holding the ball up as well for your strike partner, essentially ahead of you. You're the conduit of the attacking play there. And
I think
he
would have had more
involvement. That would have, they're not used to playing together.
He would have had more influence on the game in that position, I believe. Playing in that sort of number 10 role. But even so, today you wouldn't have seen the best of him because we couldn't get the ball from transitioning from defence into attack at all, even on the counter when Spurs were letting us have it. We just couldn't string the passes together. Paul Pogba was not that sort of cog in the middle of the pitch that's making everything happen today. He just wasn't. So it left any of those advanced players quite isolated. We didn't see a lot from Martial. The only sort of things we saw from him was when he picked the ball up in quite a deep position and he's done these jinking runs. He's trying to take it forward, trying to beat a man. Didn't have much joy. But those are the only real times we saw our players in advanced positions. Even if Alexis Sanchez was up there, it's not like he's going to have much of the ball in order to thread it through and take apart Spurs' defence, because Jesse didn't have much of the ball. So it's like it was just bad in the midfield. I think Matic and Pogba had an absolute mare today.
From what I saw, it did look...
defensively.
It looked more United playing shit than Tottenham playing better, their best football. Because we didn't look at our best. I've seen Tottenham play better this season from what I saw there.
It was a combination of the two. Rats. You turned up, you looked good, you did. You can't say Spurs didn't play well. They played well. Stop trying to kick us in the bollocks even more, mate. Spurs the best Spurs against the worst United. And that's why you've won.
Dembele, Poch got it spot on with the team selection today. I'm so glad that he didn't start with Musa Sissoko, which he has done on occasion this season, Sissoko just hasn't been good enough. 30 million pounds wasted, unfortunately, it seems to be. Just not up to standard. But Dembele, Dyer, Eriksen's son, Ali, Kane, that's the team. That's the midfield and the strike force there to match anyone. Brilliant performance today. I think we kind of need to move on to other subjects because
indeed. But anyway,
heavily covered this now, and you're gonna end up with some serious crying to do, aren't you, if we keep going on down
Goose Games with a comment. He says, Spurs were quality today. They dominated us. Let's end this whole Spurs Man United chat bollocks with this. I totally agree with that. Just hats off to Spurs. They dominated us. Manchester United, not the racers. Absolutely pitiful, dreadful performance from us. Ashley Young, worst performance of the season. Phil Jones, worst performance of him of the season. Paul Pogba, worst performance of the season. The list goes on. It was a dreadful evening for Manchester United and certainly a night to remember. Alexis Sanchez, a night to forget for him. I mean, rather, not fucking remember. If they will remember that, I hope they do remember that and look back on that and just don't let that happen again because it was just such a weak performance from us in every aspect. Spurs dominated us all over the pitch. So yeah, I totally echo your sentiments, Goose Games. All credit to Spurs. They deserve the win. Manchester United, absolutely gastastic. Absolutely gastastic. So... Let's just stop talking about this anyway. I'm absolutely pissed off about it. Gutted with the result. Even more gutted with the performance. We've got to somehow, start playing proper football now. We've got to win these games. Coming up against the big teams, we've got to perform better because otherwise we're going to find ourselves in a real dogfight for those top four spaces. And there's every chance that we could drop out if we play like that anyway. So yeah,
So
Shocking.
let's be honest.
Shocking
City
from us.
have won the league now. If it was ever in doubt before, I think it's no longer in doubt.
They've won the
That's
league,
it
haven't
now,
they?
isn't
Yeah.
it? Chelsea aren't going to catch up. United aren't going to catch up. Liverpool certainly aren't, and neither are Tottenham Hotspur. Let's be honest. And Arsenal. Let's forget about Arsenal. So
Pep
that's done
fucking
and dusted.
Guardiola, mate.
And
what
I
a
still
prick.
think the quadruple's on. You've got to be looking at a lot. I think there's a lot of City fans in the house this evening. I keep seeing the City badge. I keep seeing people typing City, City, City. So there's a lot of and they come into gloat. Maybe that's what
I think that's what it is. There's a lot of City
knew
badges
that
here.
United lost this evening, and they thought, right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and watch the Pig and the Hen show and just look at the depressed face of the pig. If you get off on that sort of thing, then good for you.
I noticed a lot of these people with the City badges who are commenting had Chelsea badges last week. What the fuck's up with that?
Oh, do you remember their names, do you?
No, just as a joke, mate. You know what I'm saying? That City fans are just pricks, basically. They're just glory hunting pricks, you know.
Well,
They're all new
day,
school.
Whether they're pricks or not, right? They've got a fantastic team. They're absolutely swept aside West Brom, who've been going quite strongly recently. You know, having beaten the likes of Liverpool in the FA Cup the other day. West Brom have been going all right, but absolutely decimated today by City. Again, another victory for them. They make it look easy. They're winning the league. They're in the Carabao Cup final. They're right in the FA Cup, aren't they? Champions League still soon to come. So it's going to be interesting times for City. I'd love to see them do it in a way. Just for the fact that it's great, you know, from a neutral point of view, to see a football team just do so well is good. It's great to watch. It has to be.
They're playing some
if you
nice
don't like the way
football, you
City
know.
are playing, you don't like football.
I know
That's
they
what I'm
are. They
saying.
are playing serious football. Pep Guardiola knows his stuff. You know, I was one of the people that was saying, right, let's see him do it in the Premier League now, a much more competitive, even league. Let's see him do it. You know, it's all well and good having all this money, buying all these players, but you've got to actually be able to transfer that into performances out on the pitch via tactics, right? And management and man management and all those different aspects that come into being a football manager. And guess what? He's doing it better than anybody has done at the moment, you know, because the way City are playing, unfortunately, is mesmerising. You know, they keep the ball. It's like he's made them that Barcelona side from like 7 years ago, you know. He's just when he was manager of them and they had that amazing tiki-taka style of football. It's like that goes with him wherever he goes. I questioned it back in the day. I thought, okay, well, he's got such a talented squad. You've got Lionel Messi in there. You've got Xavi and Iniesta. All those players, that great team, that generation of players they had. If you've got that team, you can do anything. But guess what? It's not about that. It's not. It's actually about the manager. And as much as it pains me to say it, Pep Guardiola is one of the best managers in the world, and he's doing an amazing job at City. Spend. They're still spending in this transfer window, you know, or trying to anyway. You know, they spent crazy amounts of money. They just got Aymeric Laporte, who's a great player, by the way, as well, for £60 million for a centre-back or whatever it is. Crazy money he's got at his disposal. But it's about transferring that onto the pitch. Look at United. Okay, we're in second place, not the end of the world. It's better than the Louis van Gaal days. It's better than the Moyes days. But Jose has not had the impact on the style of football anywhere near that of Manchester City and Pep. Yet he spent maybe not as much money, but certainly almost as much money, maybe even more money. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
you know, Paul Pogba, Lukaku, crazy amounts of money on these players. So it's not just about the players, it's not just about the money, it's about how the manager manages those players. And at the moment, Pep's winning. He's winning the league. He's winning the managerial battle with the other top managers of the league. He's made Mourinho look poor, you know, based on the performance we had against City and based on how they've only lost one game this season. They've passed and scored and scored, and they are miles ahead of everybody this season. And Pep's not even had that long, really, you know.
Smug prick, though, isn't he? Pep?
He's
I like
freaking
him.
smug
I do kind of like him, but in another way, he makes you sick in your mouth at the same time, isn't he? It's the sort of person that makes you jizz in your pants and sick in your mouth at the same time. Yeah?
Sounds like you've been watching some freaking Asian porn again, Henry. What is the matter with you, pal?
But I mean, it's brilliant from Pep this season. He's a class above the rest. Sane got injured the other day. You know, he really cares about his players. I think that he has more of a connection with the players in his team than Jose does. I can see it. You could see it on the pitch. The communication. You know, the communication between Jose and Pogba looked like a bloke and his missus about to get a divorce. and they've already got 5 kids together, and it's their 5th mortgage. That's what it looked like. That's not what you want That's not what you want. Between your manager and your players.
Anybody would be shouting at Paul Pogba the way he played today. He didn't put the effort in. It was poor. He gave up. He gave up. He wasn't prepared to fight. He had no fire in his belly. He was a little bitch. You're looking for a dragon of a player, and he was a little freaking gecko or something today. He was. So I'd be shouting at him too. But yeah, I hear you, man. Although if you're looking at player relationships in the past, Jose's right up there. He's always had brilliant relationships with his players. Look at how the Chelsea lot, they all speak of him. John Terry and Frank Lampard, they love Jose. Marco Materazzi after Inter won the Champions League, hugging, crying on Jose, saying don't leave, because he'd already arranged to leave that season. He gets great relationship with his players, but yeah, I mean, certain ones, they're just going to frustrate you, aren't they? Paul Pogba, sort your freaking life out, mate. But yeah, Jose, he leaves a lot to be desired in the managerial stakes. I'm going to agree with you. Everybody who's tuning in right now, thank you so much for stopping by the way, for the live match reaction. Thank you for Henry Hotspur for joining us as well. Do us a favour.
I said thanks. Oh, you're funny, mate. You're thanking me for being here, and it's like, oh, it's so nice,
you've taken your time out to come here and gloat, haven't you?
Thank me. I can't believe
taking time out of your busy schedule.
You've forgotten about the result this evening. You're sat there saying, yeah, thank you to Henry Hotspur for coming.
Yeah, well,
serious,
to be fair, thank you for coming, mate. Thank you for coming and being part of this match reaction between 2 teams, of which one is 5th in the fucking Premier League, or 6th. Where are you in the league, mate?
We're 5th. We're
2 5th in the fucking league, and the other one's 2nd. Let's not forget that, man.
5 points.
One bad game from us. You got lucky. You were lucky that Manchester United did not turn up tonight.
It's a brilliant result. I couldn't be more happy. Over the moon. There was a big moon out tonight, if you've been outside like I have, driving around, listening to the radio, if you like to do that, hearing them goals go in. That's what it's about, Sam. Loved it. I think we need to. Let's park that for 1 second. We need to move on to the other massive topic of the day.
Before we get onto that, hold on. I'll tell you why.
Do you think?
I'll tell you why. Because this is the Pig of the Hen show, mate, not the Head of the Pig show. I will speak.
Are you going to say that again? How many times are you going to say that?
At least 2 more times. At least 2 more times before I bin it, mate. Do us a favour.
Now.
Shut up. Chuck a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. You can follow us on social media at Mr. Flying Pig HD and at Henry_Hotspur. Get on with it. What do you want to talk about now?
So, drum roll, please.
Nobody's giving you a drum roll.
Can you give me a drum roll?
I'm not giving you a fucking
Where's
drum
the sound
roll.
effect thing you're on about?
We haven't got one, okay?
Where's the sound effect thing that all those donations...
We're never getting one!
That our fans out there have been paying for. You can't even come up with a sound effect.
Oh,
simple
I'll
drum
get
roll.
One, mate. I'll use
drum
it.
roll should be on speed dial on your fucking machine.
Yeah, it will be, but not when you're here, mate. Not for you. Nobody's performing monkey for you, okay, pal?
What time is it? When was
the last time they won anything? They're going to celebrate the Manchester United trophy for years now because they beat us tonight. Just like they're still celebrating the Real Madrid trophy because they had one fucking good game against them. Beat them in the Champions League group stage. Oh, big whoop. What have you ever fucking won, Spurs? Look at him smiling. He's smiling. That's the smile of a man who supports a shit team who are never challenging and never winning anything.
Fuck you.
Spurs won't finish top 4 this season, mate. They beat us tonight. Well done. It was an off night. You got lucky. Spurs will not finish top 4 this season.
We'll see about that, won't we? We'll see about that.
I'm getting pissed
Fucking
off.
hell, you know. All I can say is a happy man and someone that's pissed off. I wasn't even gloating then. What did I say? I haven't even said nothing, have I?
Talking about drum rolls and shit.
Drum rolls, yeah, because I'm moving on to
Stop
the next topic.
Stop being such a condescending prick.
You would have liked to be doing by now. Moving on to the next topic so we don't have to talk about how shit United were tonight. Because United were fucking awful, dreadful. Harry Dreadnap. That's what it was.
I don't agree with your condescending tone, mate, Hopefully somebody's going to see you out on the street there, a passionate Manchester United fan, and go and stick one on you.
You serious? You can't say stuff like that.
And I'd love to do it myself, but, we've been friends for too long.
At least this is recorded, isn't it? So, get the police involved in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, downfall of you, son, wasn't it?
Oh, fuck me.
Right, drum roll, please. I can't. What's a drum roll? How do you do drum roll? Can you not just do a drum roll for me?
I'm not doing a fucking drum roll for you, mate. What? I can't even do a drum roll because I don't have a drum.
All right, guys, imagine a drum roll in your head, right? Okay. What time is it? It is 11:10. What day is it today? It's the 31st of January, but it is also transfer deadline day, is it not?
It is indeed,
Is it
mate.
not?
Yes. And when does that transfer
What? So
shut?
I think it's 11 o'clock.
It's 11
not?
o'clock. It's 11
I think
o'clock.
It's already past 11 o'clock, so we can get essentially the final transfer news in, and we can discuss that with you this evening. So we're gonna look at those now. I'm gonna get those transfers up. Are you doing the same on your device there? Let's see who's quicker, shall we?
I'm already there.
Obviously, we know some of the key transfers today. Obviously, Tottenham. Let's talk about the game again today, but obviously half-time, 2-0 up against United, loving it. And Lucas Moura, introduced to the fans, absolutely loving it. What a signing he is. £25 million for someone that's played for PSG for the last 4 years, scored goals, been a consistent player, hasn't played so much this season, in fairness. But they've had to offload him. They players like Mbappe, etc., etc. But he's been, he's played well with Ibrahimovic in past seasons. He's been a top Brazilian international.
Right, we've got some breaking news from you on the transfer market here.
Have we really?
Liverpool defender John Flanagan has moved to Bolton on loan. That's just a done deal at 2 minutes past 11, so a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay. So these are the very
just
last
before the
ones
deal,
coming
these are
in
the
now.
very last ones coming in. You were right, Henry. The clock strikes 11 p.m. and that is when the January transfer window shut. So it shut 10 minutes ago.
So then why is that Bolton move just happened then?
What do you mean?
Because they were late finding out about it.
Yeah, that's just they were late finding out about it. Obviously, it was done before the
Mugs,
deadline
didn't
day.
they? They should have known about it before.
And
Poor media
can
coverage.
you not loan players at any time from a different league?
I don't know.
But there you go. So yeah, Mahrez.
Well, let's read this comment. We got a Spurs fan in the house, Thomas Jarman. Loving you, Jarman.
Fuck off, Jarman.
Hi, I'm a Spurs fan. I think we deserved the
No, I'm
victory
kidding.
tonight. I think we did as well. Dominated as always, and great signing of Lucas, meaning good connection with Aurier. So this team is just going to keep getting better, and I couldn't agree more. Thank you for that comment. Thank you to Spurs fan tuning in.
It's a good signing that it is, for the money as well. He's certainly a player who will improve Spurs. It'll be very useful to have, very good. He's like you say, he has won a lot of stuff. He has got the experience, even if it is a Mickey Mouse league. He's still a good signing, and for the amount of money he paid, you wouldn't be surprised if a player of that caliber coming in for 40 or 50 million with this transfer market the way it is. So to get him for 25 mil is pretty decent. But he's not Alexis Sanchez, is he?
Sure, yeah.
He's good, but he's not great.
Do you know what
he's
Poch
good,
said?
but
Do
he's
you know
not
what
great.
Poch said, right? Do you know what Poch said? Do you want to listen to what Mauricio had to say? Okay. So we're not a team like the Manchester Cities out there, the Chelseas, the Manchester Uniteds that just look at a player, covet someone else's misses or whatever it is, and think, oh, she is fit, she is good, she's got the ability, she's got everything that you're looking for, right? Let's just go. I'm just gonna buy her, chuck money at her. There we go. She's mine. We don't play it like that. At Tottenham Hotspur, we're looking.
Who the fuck plays it like that, man?
We're looking for the ladies out there that I don't know where this analogy's coming from, but we're looking for the
Now,
opportunities
which one
out
of your
there.
mates do you fancy their missus that much,
The
mate?
cute one in the library with the glasses that doesn't really wear much makeup or whatever, just looks very plain. But you know what's lying under them clothes. You know that is some top-notch Kahootie there, right?
How do you know that, mate? You're making
It
assumptions.
doesn't always work out. Doesn't always work out. Musa Sissoko, right? Okay, but that's the type of players that we look at. Luka Modric in the past, what a signing he was. Look at the player that he went on to become.
Hang on a second, just to clear something
those
up,
are the
mate.
sort of
Wait a
signings
second.
we make.
Just to clear something up, are you fantasising about Luke?
No, I'm not.
He's fantasising about Luka Modric dressed as a freaking librarian. That's what I heard. That's what he thinks of his head. He's flipping between that and Asian freaking porn about puking in your own mouth or whatever it was. You've got issues, pal.
Maybe I digressed a little bit too much. Don't know what it is, right? But you see where I'm coming from. We pick those players and we're hoping that they're going to become something a lot greater, which is often the case. And that's the sort of sign of Moura is. He's still young. I think he's 25, 26 years old, and hopefully he can go on to become a good player. Tottenham
Not that great. He's not that great.
Unfortunately, don't have the capability just to go out and buy Riyad Mahrez, for example. Because it'd be great to have Mahrez in our team.
Why don't they? They should.
We can't afford it.
Why can't you afford
we
him,
can't
mate?
afford
You're
it.
one of the biggest clubs in
City
England.
just offered 56 million and Bangala, something along those lines, and Leicester City.
But they spent shitloads of money this season.
Tottenham don't spend
But they should do. That's what I'm saying. They should do. That's what I'm saying. They're a small club, then, aren't they? If they're not willing to compete in the transfer market and challenge for the Premier League, when they have a manager, in my opinion, who's capable of doing so, they've got a good manager. You know, he's not going to stick around at Spurs if he's not given the resources. He's going to go off to and manage one of these other big clubs in Europe. So I'm telling you now.
But we buy unripened fruit. We buy them bananas when they're green.
And sometimes they turn out to be rotten in the middle as well.
You know, Jose, he's looked at Sanchez like a nice, you know, how you expect a yellow one, maybe
right for the picking.
1 or 2 speckles, but maybe a few more speckles shown this evening. I don't know, you know, maybe he won't fit at United.
I tell you what the difference is. We buy nice Fifeys bananas. You know, the Fifeys, the main Fifeys. You're always going to get a good banana when you choose Fifeys, or Fifes, whatever, however you pronounce it. A nice yellow Fifeys with a blue sticker. Can't go wrong. Henry is buying Spurs. They're buying their bananas from down the docks or something. Some dodgy geezer called Gerald with freaking cancers on his hand. That's what they're doing.
Island sugar.
Exactly. You know, they're buying green bananas that maybe they got a freaking black widow spider hiding in the middle of it. Eric call out on the kitchen counter. Exactly. So, no, I just think
Eric Lamela, he's just come back from injury.
It's annoying because Spurs don't have the resources of a Manchester United. Yet tonight you wouldn't know it. You know, they've done a great job of bringing through players over the years. Dele Ali, you know, they got him from MK Dons when he was young. He's turned into a very good player for them.
Fantastic
Christian
player.
Eriksen, £12 million, young when he got him, brilliant player for them. Harry Kane, come through the system. They've done a really great job. But let's be honest about this.
And pretty much all the players, you know, we buy.
They're nobodies, aren't they? They're nobodies.
We buy a lot better than a lot of teams out there. I know Eric Lamela hasn't been maybe necessarily the greatest signing. We paid a lot of money for him. Musa Sissoko, absolute flop. So we don't always get it right. But more often than not, Tottenham Hotspur do. Daniel Levy and the people that are, you know, behind the Spurs board there, they know what they're doing. Financially, we're a very well-run club and we're getting good results. We just need to start seeing those trophies. And maybe you're right.
Spurs trophies in the same sentence?
Winning trophies,
never thought I'd hear that.
Maybe you need to be buying these players, but... You know, I'm happy with how it is right now.
Tottenham
Hotspur.
Hotspur.
We just beat you 2-0 and you look
shit.
shit.
Okay, tonight, one game.
Look shit.
Tottenham Hotspur are the Newcastle United of the top 10. That's what they are. They don't spend, they sell. They sell their best players, they produce decent talents, but they just sell them. You know, Harry Kane...
we haven't sold any decent players for a
Listen
long
to me
time,
now. Harry Kane potentially could be a Manchester United player next season. Because if you don't get top
never
4...
go to United.
Oh, come on. If you don't get top 4...
go to United.
A player like that deserves to be playing at the top level of the game.
So he'll go to Real
Madrid
Madrid or Barcelona if he goes anywhere. He won't go to another Premier League.
Maybe he wants to stay in England.
I don't think he would go to another Premier League team. I don't think that would happen.
Why?
I'd like to put a bet on that now, actually. What sort of odds would I get on that? Harry Kane never ever
just like Sol Campbell? Just like Sol Campbell?
Sol Campbell?
Just like Sol Campbell?
He ain't no Sol Campbell. That's for sure.
How do you know that, mate? Money has turned many a player's head. Trophies have turned many a player's head. Robin Van Persie was an absolute diehard gooner. Gone to United, what does he do? He wins the league. Everything's fulfilled in his life now because he has a Premier League title. He's got a Premier League medal. You know, Harry Kane, I'm sorry, great player, deserves to be a Premier League winner. He will never win the Premier League whilst he's at Spurs. That's what I'm saying. They might win a cup here along the way, but they just, like you said it yourself, you don't have the resources. You're not willing to spend and compete with the top clubs in the league. So how are you supposed to win the league? It's asking a bit much from old Pochettino. That's if he's prepared to stay at the club.
We don't need to win the league at the moment. We don't need to. When you've got teams like City ripping everything up, then it's just there's no point trying to compete with what City are doing at the moment. There's no point because we're not there. What we need to be doing is we need to be consistently finishing in the top 4, making sure we are in the top 4 every single season, which I think Poch is doing a great job of maintaining season upon season, right? We need to be challenging for trophies, which we look like we certainly can this season.
Don't know,
because
mate.
we're still in the FA Cup. We're in the Champions
You're not looking
League.
like you're going to finish top 4 this season.
We could still win the FA Cup.
Yeah, but you're not looking like
I think we will finish top 4 with results like that and results that like Chelsea's today and Liverpool's the other day. I think we should be looking at finishing top 4.
You should be looking at it,
but
I don't think you're going to finish top 4 this season, mate, because next week you'll probably go and lose.
I think all this transfer malarkey's really messed up a lot of results this Premier League couple of days that we've had. I genuinely do. Let's talk about some of the. So we got to talk about the love triangle, the triangle of love. Okay, and you've got 3 people involved. You can position them wherever you like. Okay, but you've got Aubameyang.
It's turned into another human centipede fantasy now, mate. What's about this guy? Circle of love.
You've got you've got Aubameyang, of course, right? Who's moved from Dortmund
Who's
to
that, mate?
Arsenal.
What's that? Aubameyang? What are you talking about?
Aubameyang. So, yeah.
Gilf porn. He's into Gilf porn.
Gilf, really like that, mate, isn't it? You didn't have a problem with that when he was at United, did you?
Batshuayi, he gets the bat.
So you've got 3 people involved in this triangle of love. Okay, so you've got obviously Aubameyang, who's gone from Dortmund to Arsenal. You then have Olivier Giroud, who has moved from Arsenal to Chelsea. And then Chelsea have, they couldn't bear to
Good signing
lose
for Chelsea, that, I think.
Batshuayi, but they have loaned him out to Dortmund. So you see the triangle there. 3 players' movements
A spit
involved.
roast as well, if you will. A spit roast.
Who would be in the middle?
I think Dortmund are getting the spit
Nobody
roast
would
then.
know.
I don't know here, but no, I think that's actually a good signing. It's a great signing for Arsenal. They need a player like that right now. Look at the last result they had against Swansea as well. They've just
So
been.
you don't think they need
they've been
Giroud? Do you
poor.
not think they've just lost a good player and gained a good player?
I do, but I think with the connection they've got, Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang doing wonders together at Borussia Dortmund. He's thinking about that. He's seen how Dortmund
Very
used to play,
true.
and I think Arsene Wenger's. He wants a bit of that. Giroud, to me, is a great player. I'd actually have him at Manchester United. I've said that before, and I think most people have criticised me
Do you
for
think
that.
Chelsea have done a good move?
I think that's a
there?
good move for Giroud. He's a classy finisher, classy player, good with his head. What he did when he was at Montpellier. I think he won the La Liga with Montpellier because he was the striker providing the goals. I mean, that shit's unheard of, really, isn't it? Who does that? I think that's a really good player they've got there, and he won't be the first fiddle player for them, but he's gone there, to stay in the Premier League, play for a good club, win trophies, which is what they're capable of doing, and also get paid very handsomely for doing that also, more than Arsenal are prepared to pay, probably. So I think that's a great signing for Chelsea.
I agree. I mean, certainly Batshuayi, another good player. You can't say any of these 3 players that we've been talking about are
I think
bad players.
I think he's the worst of the players.
I just don't think that he
think
quite fit
Dortmund
into
has been
what Chelsea
shafted
were
there.
looking for. Conte likes to have a big man up front, like a Diego Costa. You're never going to get that out of someone like Batshuayi, are you? But like hot water bottle face. But he's gone to Dortmund now. Hopefully he can press on there. He does pop up with a lot of goals, Batshuayi. He really does. I think Giroud is what Chelsea are looking for. So good luck to them. Let's see how they go on with that. Definitely.
Yeah, I think is Morata out injured at the moment.
I don't know, but
I think he's a good player. I think
he's a good
Giroud's
player,
going
but
to have
he's
to
no Diego
deputise.
Costa, is he?
No, they definitely struggled when Diego Costa had his head turned and wanted to leave, and he was their mean
Brilliant
machine
player,
up front
Costa.
there. Great
He's
player,
missed from the Premier League,
absolute,
isn't he?
absolute bastard of a man, but a great footballer.
You'd have him at United, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and you'd love him as well. He's that sort of guy, because he really does play with fire in his belly, something that I really like. But he's also a complete bastard of a man, If he wasn't a footballer, he'd be like a freaking pickpocketer or something, do you know what I mean? I reckon. Or even a drug lord or something, I can just imagine him sat on some ivory tower with loads of minions around while he's sniffing coke off some hooker's breasts or something. Just like, off him. That sort of geezer. I can definitely imagine doing that. He's also, been one of the best players for Chelsea over the last couple of seasons, so it's a huge gap to fill. They try to do it Morata. He's still young. He's got the capabilities to do so. And I think Giroud's a good signing for them anyway. Really good signing. I rate him. Handsome bastard. Isn't he, though? He's a good-looking fella. I hate to say it. Sounds pretty homoerotic of me. But you've got to say Giroud's a handsome fella, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's French, isn't he? He's like a
I know.
a
Where's it with these French bastards?
Something like that. But
Where's it with these Frenchies?
Completely
David,
lost my
that?
train of thought now. I don't know what I was going to say. What were we talking about? We were just talking about the triangle of love, the 3. Oh yes, it's Arsenal. I wanted to talk about Arsenal. Okay, Alex Rudd hopefully is still in the house here, so I've got a few things to say. You have sold a hell of a lot of goals in this transfer window. Hell of a lot of goals. You look at Walcott's contribution last season, 19 goals. Giroud, that was a lot of goals last season. Sanchez, that's a lot of goals. Okay. That is some, Wenger is seriously rolling the dice at the moment. Seriously is, because he's mixing it up. He bought Lacazette earlier in the season. Now he's got Aubameyang in. He's brought Mkhitaryan in.
And who they kept? Danny Welbs.
Danny Welbeck there.
Where's he getting the goals? He get the goals.
So, he's really rolling the dice, and he's open for a double six, isn't he? He has to be, with these players coming in, because at the moment, talking about sixes, they are sixth, and they are proper in sixth. They are, they just lost to Swansea. Who were bottom of the table until they beat Arsenal.
And Liverpool. They beat Liverpool, then Arsenal. What?
Fair play to Swansea. Fair play to Carvajal, who
I told you anything can happen at the bottom of the table.
Came from Sheffield Wednesday, sacked him. think Sheffield Wednesday sacked him like a week or two before Swansea went in for him, and look, he's gone in there and worked wonders. Yeah. Isn't he? He's done fantastic. But yeah, so serious
Arsenal had a good window though. Okay, they've lost Giroud.
Well, you said they've had a good window, but they've sold a lot of goals, haven't they?
Yeah, they've sold a lot of goals, but they've got a lot of goals. How many goals does Aubameyang score? A lot. You know, how many goals? Well, I was going to say Mkhitaryan, but he's not very many. But he provides goals. Historically, he provides goals for Aubameyang.
Are they? They're not finishing top
no
four.
way. Arsenal are nowhere near finishing top four. They just don't. They're not good enough. They've actually really digressed as a football club, you know, because a couple of years ago they were at right, we're improving our facilities, our club. Fans are going to have to pay for the tickets, but we've got a great stadium now, state of the art, big capacity, all that business. Now it's time for the team to produce out there on the pitch. But they just haven't, you know, they've become a selling club, a feeder club.
Selling
RVP sold.
Swapping, you know, their best players for other teams' second-rate players to a certain extent. You know, that's not how you become a winner, is it? But we'll see what happens for Arsenal. It'll be interesting times, that's for sure.
I think they just need to make the change, man. You know, Wenger, he's been a good manager over the years. You know, had a great start with them for many years, actually. You know, really good. Always been quite consistent with them, considering the resources available to him and the squads that he's had over the last few seasons. Consistently getting top four. But he didn't get top four last season. He's not going to get top four this season.
Time to go, isn't it?
Time to go, you know.
Off,
you can't beat
Arsenal. You beat Fergie's record of having more Premier League you know, management appearances. Now fuck off.
Yeah. I totally agree, man. It's like they need to make a change. He's not the man to guide them to Premier League glory anytime soon. He's just not. You know, so but they will stick. They'll probably stick with him for another few years, I reckon.
Well, we dread to.
They love him, don't they? The board love Wenger. They want it like a business.
You know,
as long as he's up there.
One day on the sidelines, he'll be dead. But he'll be in that sort of weird. You don't watch Star Wars, do you? But he'll be in that weird kind of Han Solo, frozen kind of.
I remember that
statue thing. He's just there. He's still kind of watching, like the eye bits are still showing. You know, he's kind of dead, but you don't know. You don't know what's going on at Arsenal. He's still pulling the strings somehow.
More like they just downloaded his consciousness into a machine, and they've got that on there on the sideline.
Futurama or
do as much
shit.
as the fucking work as he does anyway. Joker.
Just when you've got the heads, and that's it. Have you seen that episode of Futurama? You used to watch Futurama?
Yeah, I used to watch that shit.
And they literally just had celebrities' heads.
That's right.
I can't really remember exactly what the fuck was going on.
Pickled in a jar to live forever.
That's some messed up shit.
It's some Black Mirror shit right there.
That is messed up.
But anyway, should we wrap this up?
Well, it's a couple of interesting topics. Something that I heard a debate on today, which is interesting. Well, I'd like to put the question to you. So we had a result yesterday between West Ham and Crystal Palace. I know nobody really cares. You know, massive relegation battle. Blah 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 blah. It was 1-1. Okay, one player didn't feature for West Ham, not as one of their starting 11, not on the bench, not there at all. In fact, that was Antonio. Okay. Mikel Antonio. And do you know the reason why he wasn't there?
Go for it.
He was late for a meeting, right? There was a team meeting. Apparently he turned up a little bit late. Right? I don't know the exact ins and outs of it, but essentially Moisey made the decision that he wouldn't be featuring the team at all.
Because he was late?
Because he was late for a meeting, right? And it opens up a massive debate, doesn't it? I mean, what's the most important thing at the moment for a club like West Ham, who's still, you know, trying to make sure that they don't slip back into that bottom three, and there's not many points at all in it. You know, Antonio, surely one of their better performers, one of their better players, you'd say, certainly looked like a great player last season. Should, you know, what's the bigger devil or the smaller angel, or whatever the fuck you want to call it? It's like, should Moisey think, oh fuck it, he was a bit late, but he's still one of our best players, and he needs to be making sure he's got the better players for West Ham ready there to play against Crystal Palace? Or should he be setting an example and saying, well, no, I don't care who you are, I don't care if you're Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Kane, Paul Pogba, whoever the fuck you are, you're late for a meeting, you're not going to play in my team today, you're not going to feature. You know, and that sends an example. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think if it was Ronaldo, he'd definitely be playing in the team. You know, he's not gonna. You're late, Ronaldo. Sorry, mate, you benched. That's not gonna happen. But I think
Moisey, jog on Moisey, isn't it? And be like, fuck off.
Moisey's obviously a disciplinarian. You know, he wants things done a certain way, and obviously he's like you say, he's setting an example there of Antonio, saying you need to be 100% in this, you need to be on time, otherwise you're not going to play. You know, but. There's a big difference between Antonio and Cristiano Ronaldo. That's all I'm saying. But you have to say, Moisey's done quite a good job since going to West Ham. Maybe this is going to be the revitalisation of his career. Maybe it is. Who saw that one coming?
Well, I think he's a great manager. I do. I know it didn't work at United for him. Okay, but there's a lot of pressure in the United job. in some respects, you have to admit, it's been almost a poison chalice since Fergie stepped down. It has been. It's almost been like an England job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like these managers have come in with good reputations, Van Gaal.
But then he went over to Spain and got sacked. And then he went to Sunderland, got them relegated. They're one of the shittest teams ever in the Premier League.
Now he's back fighting, isn't it? You know, don't knock him, you know, get knocked down, get back up again. That's what he listens to, isn't it? That's what he was listening to every day, and now he's back. Hey. Simple as that. Just we're going to pretty much wrap this show up. I can see you're very sad. You need to go have your cry now. The water is almost pouring out. You're like Cyclops from X-Men with water, crying tears of what needs to come out of your head right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to go have a cry, mate. I am, yeah.
Well, let's just look at. I just quickly wanted to round up Slimani to Newcastle. Newcastle can't sign fuck all. They managed to get a loan for Slimani. They've done all right because I think Slimani's a decent striker, but Newcastle are going to struggle. Championship side. They could potentially go down. Benitez, great manager, but he hasn't been back. There's issues. Mike Ashley, you've got the PCP, you know, people have pulled out. Did they make a big enough offer? A lot of discontent amongst Geordies at the moment. There, you got Slimani. Let's see how you do. You got Kennedy in as well, who had a massive impact today on your game. Although you still failed to win at home. Again. You know, it's been months and months and months, and Newcastle won at home. That is issues. That is not good for you.
Mate, you really like talking, don't you? Now you're talking to Newcastle fans. Nobody gives a shit about this, mate. Do you know what I mean? Will you just let me go and cry, please? You know, can I go and cry now, please? I want to go cry tears to use this loop whilst thinking about your frigging mum later, mate. That's what I'm doing, okay?
We need to talk about Daniel Sturridge before you do that. Daniel Sturridge, right, he's been at top teams, isn't he? City, Chelsea, Liverpool. Okay, he looked good at Liverpool, didn't he? And he has at times he's been like, yeah, he's in the England team, he's a great player, blah 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 blah. Okay, he's gone to West Brom.
Good move for him.
It's local thing.
It's a good move for him.
I like his excuse that it's local to friends, family. That's good for him. Maybe that's what he needs. 28 years old now. He needs to hit the ground running there, and he needs to perform if he wants to get to the World Cup.
He's just out of favour with Klopp. He's not going to get in the team. If he wants to get in the England team for the World Cup, he had to move. He's not going to play otherwise.
What I am surprised about though is if you really did have the ambition, why didn't he go to Newcastle? I don't know if Newcastle were able to offer the same wages. Maybe that's the issue. But if, you know, I know that he spoke to Benitez, okay? He was offered, is it the number 9 shirt? We're talking the Alan Shearer shirt. You know, we're talking, there's been some other great players for Newcastle that have worn that shirt. And that's what he was offered. And he would be stepping in to Newcastle, you know, the massive following. That seems like that would have been the better move for him. But there we go. West Brom right at the bottom is a massive challenge for Sturridge. And can he help to pull them out?
But Newcastle aren't that great, mate. You know, they're all up in the air at the moment. They don't know if they're getting sold, if Mike Ashley's keeping them to bleed him dry for a couple more years. They don't really know.
Maybe Sturridge don't want to get involved with that, where he thinks Pardew, yeah, I can work with Pardew. They need to have a dance-off, don't they? I did hear this elsewhere, okay, so this isn't fresh from my brain, okay? I've heard this elsewhere, I'll admit. But, you know, if Sturridge scores, right, on his debut or whatever, the celebration has to be he runs over to Pardew, does the worm, okay, and then Pardew pulls out the dad dance. And it would be the best, it would be like the greatest goal celebration ever. It would go down to history. It would be epic, wouldn't it? It has to happen. I'd love it.
No, that would be cool, mate. Hopefully that does happen, the old.
That's it. I hope they sign Crouchy as well. They should just sign a team of dancers. Do you know what I mean? That's how you win. You dance.
Right, anyway, on that note, we'll wrap it up there. Henry, enjoy your gloating. Enjoy your victory.
I sleep well tonight. I'm just too happy. I'm too happy to sleep. Too buzzed.
Enjoy your Manchester United trophy and the parade that's going to happen through West London or North London, wherever the fuck it is.
Thanks for bringing it up. We dicked you 2-0. Have some of that, United. You shit. You were shit tonight. You were. It's almost. You must be sad. You must be. Because if Tottenham had played like that this evening, I would have been fucked right off.
Yeah.
Fucked right off.
Pretty sour, mate, to be honest. I'm not feeling good about it. You know, it was a shit performance from us. Spurs were the better side. Yeah. Listen, anytime Spurs are a better team than Manchester United. Manchester United.
Manchester United. Let's note how shit you were tonight. Manchester United.
You know that it was a shit performance because Spurs are a shit team. And if Manchester United are losing to them, God, you must have played like dog shite, you know, which we did do tonight. You know, it's a combination of Manchester United playing the worst we have all season and Spurs playing very good, you know. It was a combination. On the best of each of the team's days, we all know who's coming out as victor. But today was a bad day for United, you know.
See, I disagree with that because I think we destroyed you a lot better than you played against us at Old Trafford. So if you look at the 2 games over the season, we've had the better of you. That's what I'm going to say.
What? You didn't get the better of us in the first game?
That's what I mean. But over the 2 games, if you look, let's say we were to make it 2 games on aggregate or whatever.
But it's not an aggregate.
If it was 2 legs,
it's a bad day at the office. It's not an aggregate.
We look better than you over the 2 games.
Well,
simple as that.
I disagree with that, mate.
Well, I disagree with you.
That, mate. Martial.
Yeah, well,
Martial, lovely finish in the first game. Spurs are shit. So what? You were lucky tonight, mate. 11 seconds freak goal. Manchester United literally sleeping at the start of the fucking game. Phil Jones turns into a striker for you. When does that happen? You were lucky, mate. The 2 incidences that got you the fucking goals were pure freak luck. Anyway, right, let's wrap it up there, man. I've just had enough of this talk tonight. But thank you very much for joining me, mate. Gloat away. Enjoy it. When's the parade? When are you going to the parade, mate? Is it tomorrow? When's the parade? When's the fucking Manchester United trophy parade?
United.
They've done the double this season, haven't they? Spurs have done the double. They got the Real Madrid. We beat your trophy, and we beat Manchester United trophy. It's a fucking double season
this
for United.
Season, then?
It's a double fucking season
what
for them.
Trophies you got this season? I'd rather the we beat United trophy, the we beat Real Madrid trophy, than the trophies you've got, which is losing to Manchester City to win the Premier League this season trophy. You twats.
Well, we've also got the We Beat Spurs trophy, except we don't talk about that because it's fucking worthless. Do you know what I mean? Absolute shit club.
You're making up these weird trophies. Forget trophies. Let's talk records. Let's talk Harry Kane.
Fucking forget trophies. They don't know what
biggest
a trophy
goal
is.
scorer 2017, more than Ronaldo, more than Lionel Messi. We've got him. We beat you tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And most of the other top teams lost, and we're looking good at the moment, so I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. See you later.
What a fucking wanker.
Let's leave it there.
Right, let's leave it there. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Do us a favour, chuck a like on this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Follow us on social media at Mr. Flying Pig HD. Jungle Roars comments and says, great banter, mates. Loved it. Thank you and good night. Thank you so much for tuning in. Gungshi, cheers, lads.
Thank you.
Cheers, Gungshi. Everybody else who's tuned in and got involved in the comment section, we do really appreciate it. Thank you so much for stopping by. And come back in a few minutes, actually, once this video has been published to YouTube, so you can get your comments and thoughts in, and they'll stick around permanently for everybody to see and interact with. So please do that. Please like, subscribe, and comment. You can follow this podcast also on iTunes and the podcast app on your phone, or you can go over to soundcloud.com/MrFlyingPigHD. But you'll find it by searching Pig and the Hen Show or Pigcast over on iTunes. Please go over there, subscribe, chuck a 5-star rating on it if you can. It'd be much appreciated. And make sure you tune in every single Wednesday evening for the Pig and the Hen Show. Just so happened to be that this Pig and the Hen Show coincided with Tottenham versus Manchester United. And lucky for me, this guy wasn't around for the first 70 minutes of the game. Otherwise, his gloating would have been even worse. Quite frankly, you've put up with just a fraction.
Thank you
of
for
what
the
it would have
appreciation.
been, so.
Thank you for the love. Thank you for putting up with me this evening. If you are a United fan, because I'm sure I've been grating.
Probably lost a lot of subscribers thanks to you tonight, mate.
All over your shit tonight. But I just wanted to just to end it on this note. Okay, let's look at the 2 next fixtures for United and Tottenham. Okay, guess who you've got next?
Go on.
Huddersfield. You're all right with it. Oh, no, you lost to Huddersfield, didn't you, earlier this season? That'll be an interesting one. They're coming to Old Trafford. You'd like to think you should be all right, but who knows? You did lose to them. And guess who we've got next?
Go on.
We're at Anfield. Massive, isn't it? We're 2 points behind Liverpool. We're going there. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tricky one. They beat City. City have lost 1 game this season.
You're going to get battered there then, aren't you?
So it's going to be a tricky
You're
one.
going to get battered there then, aren't you?
But we're not going to get as battered as you did today.
You don't know that.
It won't
You
happen.
don't know
We
that.
will play
You don't know
better.
that.
I'll tell you
You don't
right
know
now.
that.
We will play better than United did today. I'm telling you that right now. Watch that game and tell me if we didn't play better than you did this evening.
That's not hard, is it? That's not hard, is it? We played dog shite tonight, mate. But I just hope, fingers crossed, that you do play worse than us tonight, mate. You lose like 4-0. Fucking come on, Liverpool. I've never wanted Liverpool to win anything in my life, but because of this gloating mug, this smug mug, I hope Liverpool
You really want
take
Liverpool to win, do you? You really want Liverpool to win, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Because of that?
Because of you. I want Liverpool
Yeah,
to win.
well, you know, sometimes I pretend that I sort of want United to win and stuff, but I never do. I hate United. Because of you. Because of you.
Right, go fuck yourself anyway. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you very soon. When's the parade, Henry? When's the parade, mate?
The parade
There's
was
a
just
fucking
there.
parade.
That was
When's
the parade.
What is it?
That was the
What are you
parade.
going on a pride parade? Is it?